I think we will start now. Buddha Saranai, I warmly welcome you to the pre-Madin Poya Dhamma Desana conducted by the National Council for International Affairs of the All Ceylon Buddhist Congress on the topic Overthinking, Reframe Your Thoughts with Healthy Habits, the Nīvaraṇā Sutta, AN 9.64. It states, when you learn how to stop overthinking and live in the moment with healthy habits, you will be happier from within, calmer, and maintain a positive influence on both you and those around you. This talk will help our devotees to uncover on how to shift your should haves and could haves, which are the overthinking habits, into a self-accepting, more tolerating and insightful perspective in light of the 5 hindrances, the Pancha Nīvaraṇā. Today we have invited a very learned Sri Lankan Buddhist monk, currently resident in Canada, and one who has shown excellence in his university academic career in winning the very rare Sri Sorata gold medal at the University of Sri Jayawardhanapura. And that is our Bhante Dr. Gangodawila Chandima Thera. On this occasion, I wish to welcome all our special invitees who are here with us. I think we have quite a number of them. Of course, we have our own Dayaka, Senator Samarasinghe, who is playing a very major role and inviting a number of leading Buddhist monks who are overseas and helping us. Then we have Bhante Kusala, who is here with us, who delivered the Dhammadesana last time. Our council member, Mr. Kamal Nilavira, who is on our committee. Then we have the former Vice Chancellor of the University of Sri Jayawardhanapura, Professor Chandima Vijayabandara. Then we have Dr. Sumana Ratnayaka, former senior lecturer at the University of Peradeniya and currently in Sweden. Also, Drew Ratnayaka, one of our very long-standing devotees, and all our devotees who are present here this evening. So let me welcome all of them. And now I would invite Mr. Senaka Samarasinghe, who is based, he is currently in Winnipeg, Canada. And as I told you, he is the one who really extended the invitation to Bhante Dr. Chandima. And I will now invite Senaka to introduce our Venerable Thero. Over to you, Senaka.
Thank you, Professor Vandavala. Respected Venerable Sir, it's my privilege to introduce Bhante Gangodawila Chandima among scholarly Theravada Buddhist monks in North America. To Ceylon Buddhist Congress, ACBC, largest Buddhist organization in Sri Lanka, to deliver this Dhamma session. He is the resident monk of Ottawa Theravada Buddhist Vihara and Cultural Center, known as Ottawa Buddhist Monastery. He is offering many events for Buddhist and non-Buddhist communities. There are a number of traditional Buddhist events for Sri Lankan Buddhist community, such as weekly meditation session, weekly Dhamma session, puja, Pirit chanting, Sunday Dhamma school, and monthly Sil observation. The flyer expressed Bhante Chandema's educational background. Therefore, I thought not to repeat the same, but to describe some type of services that he is rendering to not only for Sri Lankan Canadian Buddhists, but also for the other communities. Among Sri Lankan Canadian communities, he focuses on school children, university students, working community, and seniors. In this regard, he emphasized Dhamma talks, discussions, and Buddhist academic work highlighted on patshota.blogspot.com. In other words, to go against the current, out of which I have selected 2 examples. Example 1, Buddhist class for beginners for Japanese speakers, interpersonal relationships, overcoming student stress, how to deal with Asian migrant parents, and how to practice attention, yoniso manasikara. Example 2, publications. How to tame your inner critic and amplify your spiritual health and true happiness. Japanese education. Thank you.
Bhante, Dr. Chandema, may I now invite you to first give counsel to our devotees and thereafter the Dhammadesa.
Good morning, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Thiruvān Saranai. Before I begin the Dhamma talk, it's time to give you 5 precepts. In a way, I think you are renewing 5 precepts. So please recite Namo Tassa 3 times to observe. Buddhaṃ saranang gacchāmi. Dhammang saranang gacchāmi. Sanghang saranang gacchāmi. Dutiyampi buddhaṃ saranang gacchāmi. Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchāmi. Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchāmi. Tatiyampi buddhaṃ saranang gacchāmi. Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchāmi. Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchāmi. Pānāti pātā vīramani sikkhapadang samadhiyāmi. Adinādāna vīramani sikkhapadang samadhiyāmi. Kāmesu micchāchārā vīramani sikkhapadang samadhiyāmi. Musāvādā vīramani sikkhapadang samadhiyāmi. Surāmīraya majjapamā daṭṭhāna vīramani sikkhapadang samadhiyāmi. Samantā cakkavālīsu atrā gacchantu devata saddhammaṃ munirājassa sunantu sagga mokkhaдаṃ dhammassavana kālo ayaṃ bhadantā dhammassavana kālo ayaṃ bhadantā dhammassavana kālo ayaṃ bhadantā. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahato sammā sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahato samma sambuddhassa. Panchimani bhikkhave nīvaraṇāni khatamani pancha kamacchanda nīvaraṇaṃ vyapada nīvaraṇaṃ tīna middha nīvaraṇaṃ uddhacca kukkucca nīvaraṇaṃ vichikicchā nīvaraṇaṃ imani ko bhikkhave pancha nīvaraṇāni ime sankho bhikkhave panchannaṃ nīvaraṇānaṃ pahanāya chattaro satipatthāna bhāve tabbāti. Dear Dhamma friends, I'm very happy to join with you, and I didn't know what's going on here, but I came to know the setup and how things go. And I wanted to take a look at the previous video. I think couple Bantes gave Dhamma talks last couple months. I think two Dhamma talks in the past 2 months for Poetis and all that. And I saw some of you were talking and all that. Okay, so without further ado, let me get into the topic. So my plan is to talk about Pancha Nīvaraṇa, overthinking in light of Pancha Nīvaraṇa. Now, overthinking is a word that is more, espoused and expounded in the Western thinking. We don't take it overthinking when it comes to our cultural, social backgrounds. But, this exists even in our culture. There's no, argument about it. So the topic goes by stop overthinking, reframe your thoughts with healthy habits. So as the title suggests, you can see that we need to stop overthinking. At the same time, we need to reframe our thoughts with healthy habits. Now, we know when you say someone is good, if you get to the bottom of that person, nail down that person's everything, you can see there is something called a layer of good habits exist in that person. If you take a look at of someone who is bad in your own definition or in the social definition, you can also see if you nail down that person's activities, thoughts, and all that, you can see a layer of bad habits. This means habits form our characters or temperaments. So, what we need to do in order to overcome overthinking is to reframe, form new habits to overcome overthinking. So, this is our plan. Now, let me see. First, I wanted to talk about Pancha Nīvaraṇa because reference sutta comes from Anguttara Nikaya 9.64, Nīvaraṇā Sutta. In this sutta, Buddha says that in order for us to overcome 5 Nīvaraṇas, we call them Āvaraṇas too, we need to practice 4 establishments of mindfulness. That's our main, bigger goal. But if you can take a look at all these 5, kama chanda, which means sensual, desire or greed at some point, and vyapada, ill will, or that's one of the forms of aversion, and tina midda, sloth and torpor, and uddhacha kukucha, restlessness, and I would say worry, and vichikiccha, doubt. You can see there are some elements of overthinking here. If you're gonna take a look at doubt, vichikiccha, it is it is completely a form of overthinking. Let's take a look at Nīvaraṇa first, and then get into overthinking after that. Now, the first Nīvaraṇa is kama chanda. Now, we know kamas are in a way, necessary things to our life, because without karmas we cannot exist in a good way. But if we develop our karmas into a level of greed, that will be a problem. So that is something to understand, kama chanda. And if you also break down karmas into different other categories, you can see uh, Vattu karmas and Kilesa karmas. Sometimes your attachments, they only exist at the mental level, so we call them Kilesa karmas. Sometimes they go further from that Kilesa level, we call it Vattu karma. So you wanted to possess, you wanted to hold, possess and hold what you think that is probably a bit dangerous. So but there can be some healthy karmas too. Now, for example, I would say, uh, let me see a good example. If we take a look at of a karma like something that we want to eat, right? So wanting to eat is a healthy desire, but if you overeat, if you don't eat in moderation, if you eat unhealthy foods, that could be a problem. That could be somewhere you are taking yourself to the levels of greed, because you are going beyond your needs, and you are sort of entering into wants. So wants are always, not wholesome, but needs are okay, but in a very wholesome context. So that is Kamachanda. Vyapada. Now, when you say Vyapada, the bigger word is what you call dosa. Now, if you go to Abhidhamma, in Abhidhamma, they talk about akusala chetasikas, especially when it comes to chetasika section. If you can take a look at Abhidhamma Sangaha, you can see there are, I think, 14 akusala chetasikas. Out of them, there are 4 what do you call akusala chetasikas regarding what do you call dosa. Now, out of them, we can see Vyapada, sorry, there's no Vyapada, dosa, kukucha, issa, macharya. Now, so that means kukucha, worrying, is part of dosa, because you are not accepting what happened in the past, which is one of the things in overthinking. And what do you call stinginess, that means macharya. It is also a sort of dosa, because you don't like other people enjoy things that even you don't like to use for yourself, but you don't like. That means kind of a counter thinking about things, dosa. And then dosa, kukucha, and what do you call macharya, and issa, jealousy, which is definitely a part of dosa. Now, the most important thing is that if you take a look at the sutta references, you can see that there are other forms of dosa, like I would say koda, which means anger, normal anger. Aghata. Aghata means resentment. Now, one of the reasons why people have a lot of overthinking is that they are going back to the past events of people who they think did not help them enough. Maybe they think that people did help, but not enough. Maybe events that they think people did not help me when I really want them to be with me. So resentment, this is kind of a form of aversion also. Koda, agata, vyapada. Now, this is what we talk about, in the Panchanivarna, vyapada, ill will, forms of, destroying other people in terms of many other forms. Could be character assassination, could be destroying someone's reputation and all that. Generally speaking, we know panatipata, the killing thing, will normally arise, after vyapada. So vyapada is one of the forms of what you call dosa. What else? Patigra. This is kind of the bigger version of dosa, because this is what we understand by fetters. When you take a look at all the fetters, Sangyojanas, you can see Kamarag and Patika. They are the things that a Sakadagami person try to, sort of withdraw to a certain extent. And then when you are an Anagami person, non-returner person, you are completely overcoming these two. Patika. So Patika is the biggest version when it comes to attainment. So there are different forms, degrees of aversion. So, but in here, we know this is basically what you call ill will. That means you don't like other people for different reasons. So it is also a daily thing that will come to us, that will give us a hard time. Sloth and torpor. Now, sloth is basically said to be the heaviness of our body. Now, it's kind of an energy factor. So if our bodies are so heavy, then that can affect our spirituality, which is not good, because this is related to eating habits and other things. So we have to keep our bodies light, because it helps really, practice the Dhamma. And midda, so tina is the what you call the heaviness of the body. Midda means, I would say, your dullness of your mind. So it's more about your mental factors. So whenever, I think these two go hand in hand. So if your body is heavy, so then your mind is also going to be dull, because you are not, able to continue your Dhamma practice. So I always think there is what you call weight or heaviness factor in terms of your body, also a dullness factor when it comes to mind. So we have to keep our body and mind tranquil and alert. So this is what we want to do with sloth and torpor. And then what you call restlessness, what you call uddacha and kukucha. Our minds are always naturally restless, and then kukucha is worry. Now in the Abhidhamma, if I can remember really well, if you take a look at of the akusala cetasikas, there are 4 akusala cetasikas that are universally affecting whenever you have other akusala. So one of them is uddacha. That means whenever you are doing any akusala, your mind is always restless. What are the things? Moha, ahirika, anuttappa, uddacha. So you are deluded whenever you are do a bad thing, and when then you are morally shameless, you are morally fearless, and your mind is always restless. So these 4 akusala cetasikas are employed in all the other akusala cetasikas. So this is one of them, uddacha. But why kukucha is not a part of this universal akusala cetasikas? Because kukucha is taken to be a part of dosa cetasika category. Because the reason is kukucha is simply worry. Actually, it is also a big part of overthinking. And then vicikiccha, doubts. Now we have different doubts, but this is more about spiritual doubts, about oneself, about others, about past lives, about some of the very fundamental spiritual questions. So that is called vicikiccha. Let me talk a little bit about some of the things you could do to overcome 5 hindrances, in addition to 4 mindfulness, establishments. I would suggest you to practice RAIN formula, which is a very famous thing proposed by the Insight Meditation Society in the US. This is what you call RAIN, R-A-I-N, acronym RAIN. RAIN means R. Whenever you are struggling with any of the Nīvaraṇā, first recognize R. Recognize that I'm having Kama Chandra a lot now. I'm having Vyapada now. I'm having Vicikiccha. My mind is restless now. So you can actually recognize what's going on within you. And then A stands for accept. When you recognize, you're going to accept. You have a good time. You have a comfortable time to accept what's going on. I am angry. I am restless. I am worried. I am doubtful. A lot of people won't even accept. So the second thing is to accept after recognizing particular emotion. R-A. I stands for investigate. Investigate your state of mind through different areas, I would say physically, energetically, emotionally, cognitively, motivation. There are multiple channels to, to investigate what's going on. Why my breath is so heavy? Why I can't think well? Why I'm so grouchy, grumpy? Why I'm very snappy? Why I'm really stuttering? Why this is happening? So you're gonna investigate. You're gonna be curious about what's going on. That's called investigate. I stands for investigate. N is the most important part. N means non-identification. Non-identification means you're gonna deconstruct you from the event. Let's say you are angry because somebody made you angry. You think somebody made you angry. Then what you're gonna do is that you're gonna deconstruct you from that particular event. So you are not saying that it happened to me, because the more you bringing you to the event, so you cannot deconstruct. The harder you are able to deconstruct. So the thing is that once you recognize, then you accept, you investigate the particular one of the nivaranas or multiple nivaranas, and then you're gonna non-identify you from that particular event. So you are very good. So this is what I basically suggest for you to practice in addition to mindfulness, establishments. What we could do to someone or somebody who is struggling with kamachanda. Okay, let me take a couple of things. So the first thing I can suggest is to practice rain formula when you struggle with kamachanda. What about vyapana? You can do a couple of things. You can narrow your focus. That means uh, you can increase your concentration, such as counting your breaths. You can broaden your focus at the same time. Listen to all sounds, experiences the body, globally. Change your focus. Normally, aversion, I would say, vyapada, appears due to one-sided attention. You think that somebody did something bad to you. So you can actually look at the particular event in a more comprehensive, I would say, inclusive way, so that you understand, no, not even me. The other person also affected. Why I want to carry on this bad habit? Loving kindness. This is the most important thing that we should be able to practice. I would say, because this is a hybrid term, loving kindness. Talk about from an English Western point of view, friendliness. So basically, the Buddha's words, if you practice loving kindness for a split second, achara sanghat, that takes over all the other kusalas, loving kindness. And what about the pain? The pain, whenever you are angry and then you're gonna yell at other person, you have to be angry first. You have to suffer first, and the other person also suffers. So look at the pain area, pain element of this vyapada. So those are the things you could do whenever you are struggling. What about sloth and torpor? So for sloth and torpor, I would suggest you need to look at some of the ways to develop your direction of your life. Daily inspirations, I would say, aspirations, inspirations, things you could do to keep you, having a lot of good vibes, good people, be with good people, uh, people who give you hope and all that. And all the time, think that if I'm lazy, I won't able to carry on my uh, Dhamma path, Dhamma birth. That's why I think the word called atapi in the Satipatthana, especially even in this sutta as well, atapi sampajano. That means we need to be diligent. At the same time, we need to be what you call have samma vayama to carry on our Dhamma path. So whenever you run out of your energy, all the time think that I want to keep my energy is consistent. My energy is consistent. Otherwise, uh, I might turn to bad things. Like if you can remember Pali stanza, what is it? There's a interesting Pali stanza about it. It's in the Dhammapada. It is about whenever you are not into Dhamma, that means you are developing, indirectly the bad habits. So try to find out inspiration, stimulation in good ways. At the same time, think that I want to keep up with my consistent Dhamma energies. When it comes to Udacha and Kukucha, now we'll be talking about it with overthinking. You need to plan yourself, because whenever you plan very well, plan ahead, you won't make bad decisions. But it's okay. I mean, it's better to even make a bad decision without making anything, nothing actually, right? So at least you made a decision, right? So you need to be able to plan ahead, but don't worry in case you fail, because at least you made it happen. Also, I would say your mind is restless because you don't have a mindfulness practice on a daily basis. So take your time for practicing at least a short meditation. I would say they are called mini meditation, sacred pause. A lot of people, they don't know their daily chores are themselves meditations. Say when you do dishes, you can do dishes with mindfulness. When you take a shower, you can be with your shower. A lot of people, when they go to shower, they think about all the bad things, all the things that happened in the past, right? They overthink a lot when they take showers, and there are many other examples. So just enjoy, I mean, just be with what you do. That helps you to convert that particular chore activity into a mini meditation. What about kukucha? It's the same thing, huh? So Uddach kukucha, they go hand in hand. So you do the same practices for that too. We'll be talking that in addition to uh, with overthinking. And for Vichikicha, I would suggest to suggest you to think that Vichikicha, to my understanding, is the worst, is the most dangerous Nīvaraṇā, because when you are doubtful, you will not make anything happen, the Dhamma path, your secular life. So we'll take a look at of all these, with overthinking now. Okay, what is overthinking? Overthinking is to think about something too much or for too long. Okay. Now, what are the easiest ways to understand overthinking? Now, people tend to ruminate about past, beating themselves up about should haves, could haves, what if. I should have done this way, I could have done this way, what if I didn't do that? So, should haves, could haves, and what if mentality. It's kind of a negative self talk, which is pretty bad. That's why they get to ruminate. Now, in the Visuddhimagga, we know there is a temperament called Vitakka Charita, which is on ruminating. But I would say this is more about, this is more than a Vitakka Charita. So that means somebody is always worrying about should haves, could haves, and what if. Now, we certainly know that some of the very apparent results of being into overthinking. We know there are symptoms of depression. Overthinking elevates our stress levels, and not even those physical things, but also overthinking clouds our judgment. We have a judgment, healthy judgment. So overthinking clouds our healthy judgment. So we have to understand first, why do I overthink? Hmm? It is normally said that overthinking is a byproduct of anxiety and depression. It's a byproduct because you are anxious and depressed about something, and then that nature takes you to overthinking. And overthinking also has a nature of repetitive thinking. So you think repeatedly about something, about uh, you know different methods, different ways how you could have responded. So at the same time, overthinking materializes. What overthinking only materializes is that you are, uh, you are trying to materialize a particular event that happened in the past to your present day life. So, you know, uh, that will take you to a lot of insecurities, anxiety, and stress things. Now, let me tell you the healthy habits you could, use to overcome. Number one, re-narrate your story. Now, there are people who always get back to the thinking called what if, you know, and could have, should have kind of thinking, they could re-narrate the particular event that they are thoughtful. Because the only thing is that you can give a different meaning to the event because you take it in a different way, give a different meaning to this event. Maybe probably somebody was mean to me. Maybe he was out of his mind. Maybe he was having a, she was having a bad day. Maybe he was not trying to mean that for me. So you gotta re-narrate your story because a lot of people think if they don't do that, they are always victimized. They always been, you know, warriors. Uh, you know, they all take it to their side. But if you can re-narrate the particular event that they are worrying about, that's the first healthy habit you could do to overcome uh, your overthinking in the first place. Once you change your story, you will change your life. There is no more overthinking about those particular events. Number two, self-compassion. Now we all talk about compassion. What is kindness? Now there are a couple words about compassion practice. So, you know, sympathy, empathy, compassion. So sympathy, basically we know sympathy means that you understand that there is suffering that someone is having. Empathy, you feel that somebody is having this suffering. Understand and feeling. Understand means sympathy, and feeling is empathy. Compassion means the bigger version of empathy, which means you look at different ways to help that person out. Okay, but what is self-compassion? I call it the starting, the beginning point of your compassionate journey. If you are not compassionate to yourself, you won't be compassionate to other people because you don't know how it works. So you need to be self-compassionate. You don't need to beat you up. Why am I, you know, uh, beaten up this way? I should not take it to myself. I'm overthinking to myself and keep worrying about it. I have to deconstruct. So the main one of the ways to deconstruct is that I need to be compassionate to me. I should not torture myself. I should not sabotage myself. Okay. So the second healthy habit is being self-compassionate. At the same time, after that, need to be compassionate towards those people who involve with a particular event that you are really overthinking about. Third healthy habit: stay present, meditate. Now, staying present. I know the book called The Power of Now, written by a German Canadian writer, Eckhart Tolle, was the bestseller for some time because people never think about the power of the present moment because they're always lingering about the past and the future. They're kind of, switching all the time. So living in the moment is key to learning how to stop overthinking. If we can stay really in the moment, that will really help us know I should not sacrifice my precious time for a passive and which I don't have control about, right? Sometimes other people also don't care about, but why I want to care about that? So living in the moment is very interesting, very important, because otherwise this overthinking spirals out, out of control and make a havoc in our life. So try to be in the moment, try to be happy with the moment, and always think this moment is a more precious than any other moment because this moment will be the past in a moment, and this moment that you plan your future will be the moment that you will make your life for the future too. So when you think about staying in the present, I would also ask you to practice deep breaths, meditation on deep breaths, because it can help you to stay in the moment. So in order for someone to do that, I would suggest you could do a couple of things. You sometimes need to unplug, shut off your gadgets and stuff. You need to have some personal time. We call it shunyagara in the Pali text. At the same time, uh, you're going to focus about your breaths. This is not a very standardized breath meditation, but you're going to take some deep breaths whenever you think that you are not in the present moment. Okay. What do you call the third healthy habit is staying in the present moment and do a meditation. I would say some mini meditations as well, because mini meditation really help you to practice stay in the moment. Because a lot of people, they complain, I cannot do 30-40 minutes meditation. It's okay, don't worry. Do a mini meditation, I would call it. Sacred poses. That means convert your daily activities, chores, into a meditation. When you drive, when you take a shower, when you eat, when you prepare food, when you do, convert them into sacred pose, at least 1-2 minutes. Because over time, this will be something which will be helpful for you. Otherwise, if you try to hit a very big practice, like a 30-40 meditation in the first place, you might not be able to do it. So try to start from the mini meditations level. And then healthy habit number 4, zoom out and focus on solutions. Now, when something happens, a lot of people are worried about particular small areas of the event. But the Buddha asks us to zoom out, look at the bigger picture of the whole thing, right? Because the more we look at the bigger picture of the whole event, the better we have a good, inclusive understanding about what's going on, what happened. This should have, could have, what if, we'll get the best answer. They are answered really well, really fast. But if we sort of like, minimize our focus and not zooming out, then we will be stuck all the time. So that's very interesting to practice. It's a healthy habit. So practice the healthy habit number 4 is try to look at the bigger picture. That is what I mean by zooming out. A part of that is focus on solutions. Now, when you look at the bigger picture of an event which gave you a lot of overthinking, what a lot of people do is that they look at more about the problem side. Actually, you should focus more about the solution. Now, this is kind of a very intricate tricky part in Buddhist teachings, because Buddha always asks us to look at the cause. But don't forget, Buddha also asks us to look at the result at some point. When one monk called Malunkyaputta, the Malunkyaputta was doubtful about some of the very, I would say, some of the spiritual questions that are not important. And then the Buddha said an answer with an analogy. The analogy was that there's one man who was shot with an arrow, and the man and his friends and relatives approach him, try to take the arrow out, and he said, no, don't take it out. Just tell me who shot this arrow, and how much poison is in it, and how big is the size of the arrow. And Buddha said, this is not important. This is not important. So at that point, you can look at the result-oriented things. You can take it out before we talk about who shot and how poisonous is that. So there are some places where Buddha talks about look at the result aspect too, outcome aspect too, to find out answers. So when something, because overthinking happens for past events, so I would ask you to zoom out, look at the bigger picture of the event. While you're doing that, look at more about the solution aspect, not just the problem aspect. If your overthinking is caused by stress at work, rethink your career path. If you are not happy about your work life, you can rethink about your career path. If you are not where you want to be in life, set goals for yourself so that you can get there. Why don't you set new goals? If you feel like life is out of your control, make a decision today to get back behind the wheel. There's always opportunities, but you think that there are no opportunities, all are fixated. No, there are always a number of, I would say, millions, trillions, I would say, undefined solutions, ways of looking at issues, ways of practicing to get back to normal. That's number 4, healthy habit. Number 5, healthy habit is tally up wins. What is meant by tally up wins? Be grateful for what you already have. Then you cut down on overthinking. Acknowledge your success. We sometimes only focus about something that really happened, bad to a very lesser extent, but you don't look at the whole bigger picture to feel as that I accomplish a lot. So why don't I look at the brighter side of my life as well? That's number 5, healthy habit. Number 6, face your fears and know the difference between fear and intuition. Now, when you are struggling with overthinking, you will lose intuition. So what you need to do is that you need to distinguish the fear and the intuition, because when you understand that my fear arises from something that happened that I have no control over it, then you understand I need to bring my intuition to understand this is no uh, you know important, this is not important to me to carry this thinking along the way. So you're going to bring your intuition to understand your fears, uh, in which you can see your overthinking patterns. So you need to face your fears, understand, acknowledge, and bring your intuition to stop overthinking. Number 7, get the right tools. Now, nobody overthinks genetically, nobody overthinks naturally. Overthinking happens whenever we don't have the right tool set. So if you have the right tool set that I've been talking so far, these 7 healthy habits, you understand what I should place in action at different times. This also has different questions that are regarding to the right tools, how to align your choices with your ultimate purpose of life, learn how to navigate pain and anxiety, because there's pain all the time, uh, with overthinking and all these bad states of mind, rather than avoiding or suppressing it. A lot of people, they get to bad habits. They drink, they're gonna uh, torture themselves, they're gonna do a lot of harm for them. So try to get the right tools so that you will be able to understand uh, what you could do the moment that overthinking hits you. Okay, those are the 7 health habits. Let me tell you, let me recap once again. Number 1, re-narrate your story, which gives you overthinking. Number 2, be self-compassionate and be compassionate to other people. Number 3, stay present and do at least mini meditation, sacred poses. Number 4, zoom out and focus on solutions, not just the problems. Number 5, tallying up your wins. That means try to see your accomplishments as well, not just look at your places where you blundered or screwed up. Number 6, face your fears and know the difference between fear and intuition. Number 7, get the right tools. Okay, so this is about overthinking and the healthy habits you can reframe over time. You can do all these in one day, it takes time. Practice takes time. Now, I will get back to the sutta and then I can wrap this up. In the sutta called Nīvaraṇā Sutta, Anguttara Nikaya 9.64, Buddha says, in order for us to overcome Pancha Nīvaraṇas, we know that what do you call kukucha worries are really related to overthinking. Vichikiccha, they are all closely associated with overthinking, right? There are many other events too. Kamachanda, Vyapada, Tinamita too. In a bigger perspective, I would say, in a larger, bigger perspective, Buddha asks us to practice 4 establishments of mindfulness. I would say Kayanupassana, Vedananupassana, Chittanupassana, Dhammanupassana, to better understand and practice, uh, the sort of teachings to get away from Pancha Nīvaraṇā. Now, we know Pancha Nīvaraṇā, definitely they bind us to ignorance and to the suffering. It's like kind of a transparent something that is in front of us. Through that, we're going to look at the whole world, inner and outer world. So, but we have to, you know, keep it away, keep those five away so that we can see everything as it is what you call by vipassana. So now what can we do with Kayanupassana? Now in the Kayanupassana, we understand there are practices based on the body so that you are calm, quiet. At the same time, you understand your body really well so that you are mindful through your body. One of the very famous practices is breath meditation, because I know the more you refine your breath, the calmer you are. This is the fundamental practice. I know that Bhikkhu Analayo in his comprehensive writing, I have noticed that he's saying breath meditation has the focus of refining the breath. I mean, which is pretty, sensible, because our breaths are normally very heavy, because we are struggling with a lot of emotions, bad emotions. So if you can practice, if you can refine your breath, calm your breath, you are not struggling that much. So it's like trying to refine your breath through the body. That is Kayanupassana, and there are other practices too, full awareness and all that. And when it comes to Vedananupassana, we can see that there are two sides, the affective sides and those emotions. So what we had to think about, what you call bad states of mind, is that we're going to look at the feeling side, affective side of the feeling, in order to be mindful. That is Vedananupassana. And Chittanupassana means there are thoughts, different chittas. Saraga thoughts, Sadosa and Mahagata chitta. There are a lot of thoughts that are appearing in us. So we're going to look at those thoughts as they are. So we're going to be mindful through our different thoughts. Finally, Dhammanupassana. Now in Dhammanupassana, we're going to look at these, what do you call, the precise, intrinsic nature of Dhammas, phenomena, as they are, right? Because Dhamma has multiple meanings. Somebody has written a PhD about Dhamma, multiple meanings of Dhamma. Remember, Professor John Rose Carter in Colgate University. But I would say that this Dhamma is the intrinsic nature of phenomena. So while looking at those Pancha Nīvaraṇā is also part of Dhamma, Satta Bojjhangas and all that. You're going to look at the whole world phenomena through those Dhamma factors so that you will be mindful. So these four really help you to be calm, quiet, mindful, so that you have a good control to take care of yourself from Pancha Nīvaraṇā. So my main focus today was to tell you that overthinking is a big problem. You can practice 7 healthy habits. Overthinking is really arisen from Pancha Nīvaraṇā. So that was what I was trying to say. And I think I want to thank you, everybody. And I think there will be, I don't know what's going on after this, maybe a Q&A session. Thank you, everyone. And I hope that may all the good karmas that we've been accumulating in listening to Dhamma, talking, discussing Dhamma, be helpful for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Much merit to you, Venerable Bhante. I think you have been able to give us in detail about the overthinking and on the Pancha Nīvaraṇā. I think so. We also have a few experts who are here. I think many of them known to you also. So I will first invite some of those who are on the panel, but any of our participants, if they wish to discuss anything, they can kindly put it either into the chat or to Q&A and send it up so that we can then give it to Bhante to answer. So first of all, I will invite Professor Chandima Vijayabandar, who's also been, I think, in 1 or 2 sessions associated with Bhante recently, maybe to initially give his comments. Professor Chandima.
Thank you very much, Professor Vatawala. I'm in fact very much interested in this topic when Gangadevila Chandima Thera presented, because in Buddhism, as people like Robert Paulus has said, that psychological insights presented by the Buddha are really sort of a very sort of a thing that should come from a rare genius, right? Buddha has examined human mind in a very thorough way, and has shown people how to sort of purify our mind from the common weaknesses that everybody more or less suffer. And therefore it's very timely and very interesting the way he presented it, so modern people can understand in simple terms, and also practicable in day-to-day life, right? In fact, now he has been living in Canada for many years, and therefore he is very familiar with the modern psychological terms used in that particular geographical context. So I'm very happy to have listened to him, and I would rather ask him to clarify a little bit more on this terminology when we use the term overthinking. Why should we call it overthinking rather than using another traditional title?
Bhante, you like to explain?
Thank you, Professor. Thank you. Well, overthinking is a term, as I said, that I probably think it was coined by the Western Enlightenment schools. I don't think there are a lot of elements that we suppose that they should have added when they coined this concept. Normally, what I understand is overthinking is something that somebody thinks about something too much and for too long. So this is the basic, norm thought that I understand by overthinking. Other than that, I'm not very sure about how does the Western Enlightenment school define this, but normally this is a day-to-day problem. So we can see that people take a lot of things that happened in the past to ruminate too much and too long. So those are the 2 elements that I understand the word overthinking.
Thank you. What is the singular term on that for overthinking?
Adichintane. I mean, that is what I think. I mean,
Thinking too long. Yes, Venerable sir, that explanation is very good. Thinking too much, thinking too long, right? Especially in relation to karma chanda, when we think of that, as you explained, that karma is actually something, sort of a driving force of all human beings. But taking it for too long and too much can be highly detrimental for psychological health. Yes, Venerable, thank you very much.
At the same time, I want to add something. So otherwise, somebody who is too much into sutta references might get confused. There are places where Buddha asks us to think deep, think kind of long, like Pachavikana. There are things that we need to keep in mind, like I would say the death, sicknesses, karma, and probably we may have to think, but not too much, because in other sutta Buddha talks about there are 4 things that we should not think too much at any cost, about the world, about karma, about thoughts, about the Buddha. If you're going to think too much about them, we will be becoming mentally sick people. So we have to find the balance, the mediocre version about these areas. So basically, for normal people who are watching this, I would say don't think about something too much, too long. Find the balance. So that is what I can tell you. Yeah. Thank you.
Bhante, actually, you like to make any observations or comments?
I was wondering, so Bhante Sankichan and I were listening to this desana, which is very wonderfully presented, and after Professor Chandima's Professor Chandivijayabandara's question, so Bhante Sankhya suggested papancha is the word for overthinking, or we could also use sankhara. So papancha is proliferations, like multiplying thoughts, which is, I think, kind of an overthinking. And sankhara is not quite close to that, but sankhara has a whole different meaning, like formations. But I think papancha comes closer to overthinking. So what do you think, Bhante Chandima, about this?
Okay, let me tell you my take on. Now, if you take a look at our Majjhima Nikaya Madhupindika Sutta, I would say papancha is what we call by papancha sanya sankha samudachana. If you take a look at of the commentary to Majjhima Nikaya, what you call papancha suddhini, we see that the contents of papancha, what you call phenomenon of proliferation. I actually written a book in Japanese and in English too about this. So the contents of papancha is tanha, mana, and ditti. So there is craving as an element in a papancha. There is measuring as an element in papancha. There's view as an element in papancha. But in English, the Western Enlightenment school, they talk about proliferation. So yeah, we could tell, we could call it papancha in a way. You know, we can say, but also Bhante Kusala talked about sankhara. We know that there are differences between abhisankharas and sankharas. It is from a point of mental constructs. I mean, all we did intentionally. Yeah, I mean, at the end, everything will become papancha, because whenever you react to overthinking, you are creating papancha, right? And so you are the one who is creating papancha, right? Not the other people. Other people may be mean to you, maybe were bad to you, mean to you before, but now you are creating papanchas to it, which we see overthinking as a part of. So we are responding to that person. Maybe he doesn't know, she doesn't know. We are self-creating negative talk, negative feelings in the form of papancha. Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it too. Thank you.
Bhante, there is a question. I will just read it. The main objective of a Buddhist is to attain Nibbana. How reduction of overthinking can help this path?
Okay, the biggest thing, the immediate thing that came to my mind is that whenever you keep thinking too much too long, you lose the present moment. That means you don't have enough time to practice Dhamma, right? So if you know how to attain Saddhanusari, Dhammanusari, and Sotapanna, then we don't need to wait too long, too much. So this definitely affects, because if you take Visuddhi Magga, and there is definitely a character called Vitakka, what do you call Raga Dosa Moha Saddha Buddhi Vitakka. So if you are delaying yourself for something that happened, if you cannot figure that out, if you cannot find a solution, you are stuck, you are stagnated. So that definitely affects your path to attaining Nibbana. So what I ask is, try to reframe one of these habits, or maybe the old habits, and then try to get back to the stream, Sotapanna. Try to practice, otherwise you are losing your precious, very valuable time.
We have Dr. Sumana Ratnayaka. Dr. Sumana, you have any observations or comments you would like to make?
Yeah, first of all, I should be grateful to Bhante's talk. It's very, very informative and encouraging, refreshing, and very useful talk. I mean, useful in many sense. Professor Chandima Vijayabandara has already given his comment and his questions, and even I had the idea to ask about overthinking, and you have already answered the question. I mean, Professor Chandima Vijayabandara being one of my teachers, I think it's very, I'm delighted to hearing your comments and your questions as well. At the same time, Bhante Kusala's response, I'm happy about. And when you discussed expressing papancha and other relationships between abhisankhara, then I was thinking about abhisanchetana, etc. All these are, of course, along the line of your expressions, Bhante, as I see. And maybe you have certain points about, how jhanangas function as, kind of antidotes, counteracting these 5 hindrances and so on. So maybe some ideas about how they function, the jhanangas like vitakka, vichara, piti, sukha, ekagata, and also some aspects of the 7 factors of enlightenment can function as antidotes, counteracting these 5 hindrances and so on. So you maybe enlighten us with some responses from you. Thank you.
Thank you. A very good point. Now, when we talk about 5 rupa vachara, because we had to think about rupa vachara and arupa vachara jhanas. There are 4 rupa vachara jhanas, material jhanas, and 4 arupa vachara jhanas. Now, what we understand when it comes to jhanas is that there are certain elements processing, one jhana by the other jhana. Now, if you take a look at our first jhana, we can see piti exists, you are happy. Second jhana, also piti retains. But in the third jhana, there's no piti, there's upekka. When it comes to the 4th jhana, we can see a very interesting word called upekka sati parisuddhi. This is very interesting. Now, your mindfulness is pure because of equanimity, upekka. Now, if I take a look at the intersection between overthinking and 4 jhanas, material jhanas, what I could say is that when someone is into overthinking, for most part, that person is worried about something that happened in the past. So I don't think she has any piti about it. There's no any elements of piti, I guess, especially when it comes to jhanic piti, that rapture kind of delight kind of piti. So basically, I think she is basically struggling with kukucha and doubts. It's pretty hard for them to get over. That means we know that one has to definitely overcome 5 hindrances to get into jhana, right? Because we know that of course stock expressions given by, I think, commentators that goes by kama chandadi panchanika dhamme sameti iti samato. So if any of these hindrances not suspended, that means there is no jhanic practice at all. That means if you have overthinking, that means you have certain elements of what you call hindrances working. That means you won't be able to tap into jhana. So that is about jhana. When we talk about satta bojjhangas, sati dhamma vichaya virya piti passati samadhi upekha, I probably think overthinker has no sati at all. So he's out of the path. She's out of the path. Because if she or he who is overthinking has sati, definitely that person might not encourage overthinking. Does that work for you? Does that make sense?
Yeah, Bhante, it's very interesting to hear.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Sumana Ratnayake. My
You're
first time to
welcome.
talk to you.
Yes, I haven't had an opportunity to talk to you either. I mean, I'm very happy that I was invited to listen to you. And I'm very grateful to Professor Vattabala for organizing talks like this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bhante, there is a question. Actually, it is from Bhante Ratanananda. Thank you, Venerable, for your desana. Just eager to learn from you how it is your experience about overcoming of Nīvaraṇā by using any methods as you had mentioned according the sutta. If you had experience of overcoming, how was your feeling after overcome?
Okay, that takes to my personal practice. I had to be careful, but I'm going to actually reframe that also in a better way so that you will understand without any, different thoughts. Well, I definitely followed the re-narration. Re-narration is really good because, as a wordling person, I also sometimes, go through some of the events that happened in the past in terms of understanding what really happened. So what really happened? Did I really catch what really happened? So I always practice this re-narrating those events, my story. So definitely I practice that. Compassion, definitely. I've been doing that. Yeah, so almost all the healthy habits that I've been following so far. That's why I suggest you to practice. So it's not something that I want to say that I'm a dead cell that I just want to present to you. I've been practicing all that to different, more or less. That is one thing. And the question also asks about, okay, if you had experience of overcoming, how was your? Yeah, that was very interesting, and I've been really happy. What happened to me after, because I knew that this really worked for me, and I could witness to myself this really worked for me. Uh, but I'm not attaching to any habits too, because Buddha says not to attach to anything. But I think they are really good habits to uh, utilize whenever I get to overthinking.
I really brought in Bante Ratana. If you have any comments on or you want to clarify anything further, you can please request Venerable Thero. Right. Kamal, you have any sort of comments you like to make, or Senaka, before we wind up?
Actually, thanks a lot, Venerable Dr. Gangudevil Chandama. It was really very enlightening to listen to you. And first of all, I must say that the Buddhists of Ottawa are most blessed to have you amongst them. And they are very lucky to have you and for you to be in charge of the Buddhist monastery in Ottawa. I'm based in London, and it was really interesting to listen to how you sort of simplified the subject of overthinking with RAIN: recognize, accept, investigate, and non-identification. These are good for us who are Buddhists living overseas and help us a lot. My question to you, Venerable Doctor, is how do you share this with your uh, your your disciples, your followers, the laymen, and explain the importance of practicing these very important aspects of Buddhism?
Would you mind repeating that again, the last part?
Yeah, last part is, this subject of overthinking in your monastery, and when you are able to meet with Buddhists, uh, how do you explain the importance of practicing RAIN, for example, and how do you sort of see the benefits? Do you get the feedback from your disciples that it has helped them?
Yeah, definitely. I usually incorporate this RAIN methodology into my daily talks, and but in a careful way, because this has English versions, because I wanted to bring the Dhamma version into each letters. So what is recognizing is that related to Kayanupassana, Vedananupassana, Chittanupassana, Dhammanupassana, and how do you accept that? How do I bring Dhamma into accepting? And then how do I bring what do you call Dhamma into investigation, because what do you call there is a Bojjhanga called Dhamma Vichaya, investigation of Dhamma factors. So I mean, all these kind of things, I'm kind of incorporating them as necessary. So I definitely incorporate, but I do it in a careful manner. I look at the audience, I see what's going on, what could benefit, and then I'm gonna make that happen. So it depends. It depends the way, but I definitely incorporate.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Bhante.
There is a Bhante Sankicha. If Bhante can put raise the hand, then I can try to see whether I can just give a minute or two to just to say a few words that you want to mention. Can you kindly raise your hand so that
I did. I think I'm with Bhante Kusala.
I'm joining from Bhante Kusala's account.
yes,
Joining from Bhante Kusala's account. Can you hear?
you can, yeah. Please, maybe 2 minutes we can give you. Please speak.
Yeah. Actually, what I just wanted to mention here with respect to Bhante Chantiba, I would like to bring your attention to a very practical day-to-day experience with overthinking. If you take an example of when we have something in our mind, when we have hard time letting go of thinking again and again, sometimes, for some people, they cannot even fall asleep as a result of that. They cannot simply let go of thinking about something they got really attached to or averse to in their practical life. So in modern psychology today, we talk about this is as a cause for even depression. Somebody can end up in that very typical, complicated mental experience as a result of overthinking. And also for that question closer to how this overthinking can be related to Nīvaraṇā, I was thinking about the Buddha's direct advice to Bahya. When he advised Bahya, when we see something, hear something, or with this sensual experience, not to follow those directions, applying different thoughts and emotions, just to stay with that experience. So that is where we are supposed to cut off our overthinking, and remain in the experience level right there. And that is about unnecessary thinking. Otherwise we appreciate some sort of controlled, mindful, wise thinking according to the real understanding of the Dhamma. What is wrong with overthinking is that when our thinking is not under control, when our necessary other spiritual qualities or faculties are not in line with that thinking, like mindfulness and wisdom. So when we have that control over our thinking, that can be healthy. As Bhante mentioned, we can use that faculty or that skill for our enlightenment or getting a better understanding. So that's what I wanted to briefly mention here. Thank you very much for the time.
Thank you, Bhante. Maybe Bhante Chandima can explain.
Okay, so yeah, thank you, Bhante. So Udana Pali 1.10, Bahya Sutta. As you said, there is this reference goes by Ditte Dittamattang Bhavisati, Sute Sutamattang Bhavisati, Mute Mutamattang Bhavisati, Vinyate Vinyanamattam Bhavisati. So it means that there will be only be seen in reference, in reference to the seen, there will be only the seen. In reference to the heard, only the heard. In reference to the sense, only the sense. In reference to the cognized, only the cognized. Yeah, that's a great way. That's a short advice the Buddha gave to this incognito monk called Bahir. He was not a monk, but he was showing that he was a monk, enlightened monk. So yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. I know that it was a custom tailored advice to the Bahir. That's a good way of looking at it too. So, but the problem, Bante, is that people, when resentments come to them, their practice of uh, normal practices, they go away because resentments take them over. So that's why I'm asking, without we do not overcome the resentments, it's pretty hard for us to practice mindfulness too. So normally people are resentful. I would call it aghata for three main reasons. The first reason is somebody did a bad thing to me. Somebody, uh, uh, you know, didn't do a good thing. Somebody did good thing, but not enough. And then third thing is somebody or people help, but not enough, right? So over time, what happens? You becoming a slave to that person. You wake up by thinking that person. You wash your face by thinking about that person. You eat by thinking about that person. You sleep by thinking about that person. You drive by thinking about that person, particular event. And then you sleep, not even that. You die. You may die by thinking of that. So you kind of slave to that person. So I'm asking people to re-narrate this incident. Try to understand what really happened. You cannot cover it up without being insightful about the particular event. So try to re-narrate your stories and understand that I need more mindfulness. And the advice given to Bahir was a very fantastic one. You can use them, but you have to figure out what really happened. You cannot cover up easily unless you are a person who has a higher mind. So yeah, that's a good way of looking at it too.
Thank you, Dr. Bante Chandima. We are very grateful to Bante for having been with us this evening, and also for the very, very excellent Dhammadesana, especially on overthinking, or the Pancha Nīvaraṇā, which was really explained in very much detail. I will now invite our member, Mr. Kamal Nilavira, who is based in London, to offer merit to Bante, Dr. Chandima.
Thank you, Professor Vatavale, for requesting me to give merit to Venerable Dr. Chandima. And we are very grateful for his valuable time, considering that he is in Canada and all the time difference. So much merit to you, Venerable. Thank you very much. Actually, we also want to thank Mr. Mr. Seneka Samarasinghe for organizing the Dhammadesana today and inviting Venerable Dr. Gangodavila Chandima to make the Dhammadesana a very interesting and a very practical one for all of us. Really, it was really an interesting listening and absorbing in a very, very simplistic manner this in-depth the sutra, and we are very grateful. Also, we want to also thank Professor Vatavale for his untiring efforts organizing this Dhammadesana every month. And I mean, much merit to him too, and all the participants for taking time and joining the All Ceylon Buddhist Congress for their time and their participation. So once again, much merit and thank you very much for your time. We hope that it will be not too distant future that we will have the pleasure of listening to you again. And if you are passing through London, kindly let us know through the London Buddhist Vihara. We'll be delighted to meet up with you. And lastly, in my childhood, I used to go to the Gangoda Villa, Subhadra Rame, every Poya day. And I'm not sure whether you also had the chance to go to Subhadra Rame, a very, very ancient temple at near Gansaba Junction. Much merit. Thank you very much. Thank you, Professor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kamal. Much merit to you. I want to make a small announcement about our next program. Now, today we had an additional program, and that was pre-Medin Poya Day. And on the Medin Poya Day, that is on the 28th of March at 6 p.m. Sri Lanka time, we will be having a Dhamma discourse on craving the great lie, and this will be delivered by the most venerable Ajahn Amaro, the chief abbot of the Amaravati Buddhist monastery in Hampstead, UK. And I'm indeed grateful to Kamal Nilavira, who was able to, who is based in London, for making the necessary arrangements for this Dhamma Desana. So that will be on the Poya Day, Medin Poya Day on the 28th of March. So while thanking everyone, may I now invite Venerable Bhante Chandima to
Yeah, the good karmas.
pay homage to the gods and the Departed.
Okay. It's time to share all the good karmas we've been accumulating so far. May all the good karmas we've been accumulating by on your side, renewing your precepts, listening to the Dhamma, engaging in a Dhamma discussion, be shared by all the departed relatives who passed away in the name of all of you, your mother, father, this life, past lives, and all these times. May all them be able to share all these good karmas. May they be happy and peaceful. May they attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idammi ñāti nang hotu sukhita huntu ñāteyo. Idammi ñāti nang hotu sukhita huntu ñāteyo. Idammi ñāti nang hotu sukhita huntu ñāteyo. Also, let's share all the good karmas with the deities and nagas who protect and bless all of us, especially Professor Lakshman R. Watavala, Mr. Senaka Samarasinghe, and all the friends and members of your organization, all Ceylon Buddhist Congress, and the monks, everybody who participated, who will be watching this video sometime in the future. Be blessed and protected by all the devas and nagas. May the devas nagas give you blessings for good health, long life, and all the prosperity, especially your organization and your lives, lives of your people you know. May all the deities, devas, and nagas also attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ittavatacha ammihi sambatang punya sampadang. Sabbe deva anumodantu, sabbe bhuta anumodantu, sabbe satta anumodantu, sabba sampatti siddhya, akasattha chibummattha deva naga mahittika, punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkang tulukasasanang, chirang rakkang tudesanang, chirang rakkang tumang paranti. Finally, let's make the greatest wish. May all the good karmas we've been accumulating so far be helpful for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Abhivadana silis nichang vadha pachayino chattaru dhamma vadhanti ayuvanu sukhang balang ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti mevacha ato nibbana sampatti iminate saminchatu. Please take care to continue to take care of yourself from the pandemic, and have a good day, have a good night.
Much merit to you, Bhante, and we are very, very grateful to the valuable time spent with us, and I'm sure that all of us have been able to get to know much more of Dhamma and we have realized the great role that you are playing in spreading the Dhamma all over the world, and that's indeed a very, very good way to take the Buddha Dhamma throughout the world. Thank you, and much good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator, for introducing the Venerable to us.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you, Senaka. Thank you very much for your.
And Venerable, you are welcome to Sweden anytime, and you are welcome to, give some talks in Sweden as well. We are in Sweden.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And much very good.
Right, Lakshman. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Kamal. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next week. Okay.
Yes, we'll organize. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor.
Dr.
Thank
Senaka.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you, Drew. Thank you very much.
Thank
See you. Hope to see you next week.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So we will now wind up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Senaka. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Welcome.